DJI have just launched a new version of their Fly app 1.6.1, basically allowing support for users worldwide for this, the DJI Mini 3 Pro. But this isn't the drone I'm going to be talking about on this video, and let me quickly explain why. So the reason why is because I do appreciate that many of you that follow this channel do actually wait for me to post my updates on the new Fly apps to check their stability and new features before you go ahead and install. So basically, rather than flying my new DJI Mini 3 Pro, I wanted to prioritize all of you that are loyal to my channel and the ones that continue to support me. So thank you for that one. So what I have done is I've been out flying the DJI Air 2S and I've been out flying the DJI Mini 2 and of course the DJI Mavic Mini, because that supports the anything I find on the Mavic Mini is also relevant for the Mini SE as well. So what I'm going to do on this video is just talk all about what you can expect if there's any changes, and to advise at the end hopefully whether this app is safe to update. So let's get into it. So there are two ways to get the DJI Fly app. The first one, if you are on a more up-to-date version of the DJI Fly app, is very simply open it up and you're going to be prompted that there is an update. Once you have gone ahead and done that, as you can see, we have got all the drones supported, including the new DJI Mini 3 Pro. If you are on an older version and you do not actually have the prompt actually come up on your device, all you need to do is follow the instructions that I'm showing you on screen, which is go to the DJI download page using your device with which you are connected to the internet and what you usually use to fly with. As you can see, this is how you download it directly to your device. Now at the minute, DJI haven't actually updated their graphic on screen. It says 1.5.10, but actually if you click the download button, it will be, as you can see, 1.5.1. So now we've got those installed, let's talk about any new features or anything that I may have found while flicking through these apps. I have gone right throughout the app for the DJI Mavic Mini / Mini SE, the DJI Mini 2 and the DJI Air 2S, and on the face of it, genuinely, I couldn't actually find anything new whatsoever. Okay, one little thing that I did notice, a couple of things really. If you have a drone such as the DJI Air 2S, for some bizarre reason, every time you update the DJI Fly app, it deactivates the AirSense, which is DJI's ADS-B technology, so it can detect aircraft in your area, providing they are transmitting the signal. So you need to go into your settings and turn that back on. For some reason, on all three drones, the actual measurements such as metric, imperial, had nothing selected on them. So again, that's just a minor little inconvenience that I noticed. When it comes to the DJI Mini 2, there has been a long-standing issue where for some reason, if you alter the aircraft gimbal speeds, whether it's the speeds up and down or the aircraft rotation speeds, for some reason when you hit that reset button, it isn't actually resetting. Okay, so that's really frustrating, and that problem actually still remains. Whereas the drones such as the DJI Air 2S, that actually resets absolutely fine, as does the Mavic Mini. So quite a strange one. So what I wanted to do is not just do a bench test and me just flicking through some actual options on the DJI Fly app. At the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding, so I need to get these drones out flying. So first up is the DJI Mini 2. I put this drone up in the air and I'm greeted pretty much straight away with a little boat coming through the locks where I live. A really, really nice sight and an interesting thing to be able to film. However, obviously that's not what you've come to see. You want to see how the actual drone performs on this app version 1.6.1. So flying up and down, there wasn't any really major problems. All the features seem to work as they should. I did at one stage get quite a horrendous dropout in signal in an area that I don't normally, but hand on heart, the rest of the flight seemed pretty trouble-free. The signal wasn't too bad. Yes, we did get a couple of little stutters, etc, etc, and whether it's acceptable or not, I do not know, but we sort of have to have come to expect that because it just seems to be a thing recently, especially with the DJI Mini 2. Okay, however, there was one little thing that I found once I actually put the drone up in the Air. Now, this only happened with the DJI Mini 2, so I actually gave it another go, but at first, for whatever reason, when I was trying to do the quick shot to make sure that the drone could pick me out and track me, etc, etc, for some bizarre reason, it just would not select me. No matter how many times I flicked through these settings to select a quick shot, it wasn't coming up with the little cross that it usually does, and it just would not let me draw on the screen. Nothing was happening, okay? Now, to actually update that, I actually went back out. So what I did is I landed the drone, reset the Fly app, went back out, and then it actually did work. But initially, for whatever reason, it would not select me using a quick shot. But during the flight, of course, I performed a return to home test, and it got me home as always. The only thing is, of course, these drones, the Mini 2, doesn't have precision landing. So just be careful, because as you can see, as I put my gimbal down, it would have been 50-50 whether the drone actually landed in the water, and of course I certainly didn't take off from the water. So always fly your drone home with return to home if you need to as a last resort, and then as soon as it gets above you and you've got it back in sight, or you've got your bearings, or you've got your full connection, always cancel return to home and land manually. So next up was the DJI Mavic Mini. Of course, the Mini SE is pretty much the same drone, and as you can see at this current moment in time, the ship, or the little boat, has come out of the lock, obviously getting a little bit excited knowing he was being filmed, and decides to sort of drift his boat straight into the bushes on the right hand side. There's the little said about that, the better, but it was certainly interesting to catch this on camera. Of course, flying up and down, I'll keep this short and sweet, this one. I found no particular problems with the app and this drone combination. Now, of course, the DJI Mavic Mini does suffer from connection problems. Of course, I wasn't planning to go too far with this, so you can see we do get a couple of little signal dropouts. The ever common aircraft signal interference message on the left hand side, even though the connection seemed absolutely fine if we look at the bars at the top. But that's just the characteristics of the DJI Mavic Mini, I'm afraid, so it is what it is. So when I brought the drone back home to myself after the recent issues I just had with the Mini 2 selected a quick shot, I thought I'd give it a go with the DJI Mavic Mini, and as you can see, it selected me absolutely fine. I was able to press the cross and draw on the screen to select me as a target, perform the quick shot, and that was absolutely fine. So far, the DJI Mavic Mini passes absolutely everything with this Fly app. So taking the DJI Air 2S out then, I thought I'm just going to start this with the quick shot just to see how it was doing, or if it selected me, and of course we had absolutely no problems there with this drone. So taking a flight out then, of course, this thing is one of the fastest drones out there. Absolutely incredible how much power it is and just how much noise it makes. Not in a bad way, but just that you could just feel it. It feels like a warbed coming over compared to some of the other drones that I have. But yeah, real good fun. Everything performing absolutely as it should. Unfortunately, again, me never been too impressed with the OcuSync 3.0 on this drone. You can see I'm getting quite a bit of video stutter. Yes, I am particularly near a power line, but I still don't think it should be a major problem. However, the rest of the flight was pretty much uneventful. Signal seemed absolutely fine for the most part, and of course, I suffered no issues with the drone in flight whatsoever. The only thing I did notice, of course, and this is maybe something that I have missed, when I was actually returning to home, I didn't actually notice before that this drone cannot actually rotate on its axis like the DJI Mini 2 and the Mavic Mini can. So that was just something. And I did also notice as well that in the quick shot menu, I do apologise if I missed it on the last update, there does seem to be a little new menu down at the bottom where you can select the distance. So normally it would just be sort of on the side, whereas now once you select the quick shot, it comes up at the bottom, and that's how you select your distance. So with all the information that I have gathered for this video, the bench test, going through the menus, and the flight test, is this something that I would recommend you install? Yes, actually, this one doesn't seem too bad. Everything seems to be working on the drone's that we don't already know about isn't working, such as the gimbal reset on the Mini 2. I found no particular problems and no differences with signal or connection problems over and above, again, like I said, the ones we've already known about. So if you wanted to go ahead and install this, of course, I would say that's okay. However, if you don't, that is also okay, absolutely as well. And in case you're not aware, I do actually store all of the old Android APKs for the DJI Fly app in my Google Drive, and you can find that link in the video description. So if you do install it and something's not quite working on your device, you can always use those links to go back to an older version. So that wraps up this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you find these useful, of course, do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're awesome. Until next time, see you again soon.